This is Rosaire from Mike and Rosaire, Bald&Balding. Welcome back. Thanks for checking us out here for episode 2. Today we're going back to the Tidewater Comic Con, May 21st in Virginia Beach, and we are talking to Nick Davis. Nick is an Englishman, and he is a very enthusiastic writer for kids of all ages. He's got a great series, and I hope you can stick around to the end of the video. Check him out. Check out the links of him in the show notes. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe. All right, let's talk to Nick.
G'day everybody, my name is Nick Davis. I am the writer, author and sometimes artist of the Night Guardians, which is the tales of cuddly toys and heroic kids who protect us from the monsters under the bed. I'm here at Tidewater Comic Con and I'm going to talk a little bit about what I do here. I'm also, basically where I come from, I am from Pennsylvania via England, or England via Pennsylvania. One of the two. I'm never too quite certain how to explain that. But I'm here. I am this guy here, Words and Occasional Art of Nick Davis. And this is my book, The Night Guardians. These are the tales of these heroic four cuddly toys here who go off into the underbed to save their child's imagination from the monsters under the bed. Okay, well, I've been writing stories for a very long time. I used to be a production content creator for White Dwarf magazine back in the late '90s, through to the double O's, and it got me the joshing to actually start writing things. And I started writing stories here and there. And my first set of stories were actually with tales called the Wonder Tales, which were all ages fantasy, once upon a time adventures. And I moved into basically doing storybooks for a teddy bear who protected his child from the monsters on the bed. I thought storybooks are great, fairy tales are great, but I really want to do a comic book because back in the early '80s, which I'm really dating myself here, I was a huge Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan. And you look at those Eastman and Lard comics, and you look at the artwork in those comics, and you look at the stories and go, it's like breaking the rules because these are not superheroes. This is what? This is crazy. So I thought, I can also do this as well because Eastman and Lard's art is very unique and very obtainable in the way basically inking styles and drawing styles. So fast forward all the way to the year 2010, and I was sitting around going, I can do some drawing, that kind of thing. And I was just drawing odd teddy bears, superheroes, and that sort of thing. I put together a story of a teddy bear who protects his child from monsters on the bed in a storybook. But I thought this works so much better as a comic book. So I got the funds together, talked to some artists, got some ideas together, wrote the comic book script, and we put together the Night Guardians. It took us about 2014 through to 2019 to get this book done here. 156 pages of pure teddy bear adventure. And if you ever watch something like the Toy Story or something like that, it's all ages. Or even you read the Amulet, or even the Wishing Stone, the Rings of Fire. But I've always wanted to make a comic book, and I finally got to do something I've always wanted to do: write a comic book. And with people buying these books, helps me live my dream, and also, but I get to tell some great stories. So I always tell people when they basically want to do a comic book or something like that, say comic book, I go, make one, do it, just do it. If you don't do it, you never will. There is a dream, and the dream is I'd love this to be a full-time thing. Yeah. I'd love to be able to basically wake up every morning and create books. I do actually wake up every morning and create books, but this is not my full-time job. I actually work for a non-profit healthcare in DC. That's my day job. Helps pay the bills, helps pay some of the bills for this too. This is pretty self-sustaining, but sometimes the cracks appear here and there. One day in the near future, who knows, this will be my main gig and I will be happy as a very happy thing. They absolutely are, yes. Each one of these characters here actually appears in the books. I found an amazing teddy bear artist up in New York called Dot, and I think she's like a little old woman, silver hair, little burn on a sewing machine, sewing away. But she's probably in her 40s like I am, and she makes these amazing toys. And I said, "Can you make these? Can you make my hero like Tristan here?" And she said, "Yes, I can." And she did. And all the characters you see here appear in my books. So not only can you get the books, but you can get your companion to go along with the books to basically keep you safe from those monsters under the bed. They're all handmade in the USA, fantastically nylon jointed, high quality toys. I call these guys legacy toys because they will last your lifetime and the next lifetime and the next lifetime. These are really amazing things. we're working on a current hybrid storybook slash comic book, very similar to the old EC style comic books back in the 60s, where you have a narrative panel and you have basically a narrative prose underneath. And that's called The Last Guardian, which is going to be it's actually an apocalyptic tale of a teddy bear and his boy as they basically go through an apocalyptic race trying to find a place called Sanctuary to save themselves. And that's coming out in September. And in sometime in before the new year, hoping, fingers crossed, touch wood, no, just Tristan's wood. Well, that sounded rude, but there we go. We will basically be releasing a story called The Night Guardians versus Cthulhu, which is going to be a story featuring all the Night Guardians, huge compilation, every single character you see behind here in a huge story where they basically try to stop Cthulhu from breaking into the world. And it's going to be like a comedic action adventure.
So these are for kids.
I like to call them all ages.
All ages,
so
okay, because
ages nine upwards.
a teddy bear and the apocalypse, that sounds like it could skew dark.
It goes a little dark, but I'm always of the theory that basically every children's story should have a little darkness in it. That makes the most effective stories that you remember when you're a child. Peril is peril. We basically tell stories to our children in say fairy tales or even in a fantasy format, say example with the Night Guardians, to teach our children how to face peril, how to basically deal with monsters. So it's basically anything we write in terms of fiction in fantasy. It's an analog of basically helping our children basically cope with the outside world. Now, these are all ages tales. I say I write them in the style of Toy Story, so if you're a child or an adult, you're going to find jokes either way. The only pure children's book I probably have here is my Hero Ted book, which is basically from ages 4 through to 8, which really is a pure children's tale. And that's basically kind of slapstick and all kinds of crazy stuff. But the rest of my adventures, they're a little bit more like a dark fantasy. So if you read if your child has read Hamlet, or if you have read Hamlet, or your Wings of Fire, Wolf Walkers, any of those style of middle grade graphic novels that you find in basically Target or your bookstore, these books pretty much go in the same area.
Okay, awesome. How's the show been for you?
It's been okay. I'm not breaking any records, but that's not the point. The point is basically I'm here to basically showcase my books and basically get a presence out there and build what they call the brand, which I never quite understand that word, but it kind of covers all kinds of things. So I'm just getting my name out, getting my books out. Every book I sell as a triumph. Every book is basically 3 more people who read that book in that family. It builds and builds and builds. I'm starting to get return of customers. This is my second year at Tidewater. It's a nice convention. I'm basically waking up every morning in a hotel overlooking the beach. It doesn't get much better than this. Well, it could get better. I could be in Hawaii with a fast car and a cool buddy that owns a helicopter and to me with a nightclub. But that's not going to happen, and I got a really crappy mustache, so that won't happen. So,
how far do you, when you go out to shows, if you're based in Pennsylvania,
yeah,
how far do you roam?
Oof, that's a tough one. It really depends on the show and what benefits are for me to go to that show. I think probably 6 hours out from where I am is probably my total maximum. But I mean, we're in central Pennsylvania, so that gives us a pretty wide berth where to go. Tidewater is one of my longest drives to get to. We might be up in Connecticut in a couple of months. That's like probably about 7 hours, and that's probably about it. So we pretty much cover the upper part of the Eastern Seaboard. I like to try some mid-state shows and go that way, but this is America, and you guys have got geography, so lots of it. I appreciate this opportunity to speak to you guys. You guys are doing awesome things. I appreciate this interview, and please check me out at altwoodseries.com. My name is Nick Davis, and this is the Night Guardians.